This is Dave Wirt with your Ag Market News Weekly Summary. This week in Pennsylvania we had 3,784 cattle compared to 3,789 last week and 4,097 a year ago. Compared to last week's market, slaughter steers sold steady to $1 lower. Slaughter Holsteins sold mostly steady. Slaughter heifers sold $1 to $2 lower. Slaughter cows sold steady to $1 higher, and bulls were $1 to $2 lower. Steers high choice and prime this week were 121.75 to 126.25. Choice were 117.50 to 121.25. Selects were 112 to 115.50. Holstein steers high choice and prime were 104 to 107.50. Choice was 99 to 103.50, and selects were 92 to 97. Heifers high choice and prime this week 117.25 to 119.75. Choice is 113.50 to 116.50. Selects are 104.25 to 106. Cows breakers this week were 72 to 76. Boners were 69.50 to 73.50, and lean was 63.50 to 68.50. Bulls this week, high dressing bulls 101 to 104.75. Average dress was 90.50 to 95, and low dressing was 83.50 to 89. Feeder cattle, there was only one major sale this week, and medium and large frame 3 to 500 pounders were 148.50 to 152.50 for steers. 5 to 700 pounders were 130 to 150. Number 2s 3 to 500 pounds were 113.50 to 116.50. 5 to 700 pounds were 123 to 126.50. Heifers, medium and large frame 3 to 500 pounds were 125.50 to 138.50, and 5 to 700 pounds were 107 to 117. And bulls were running 3 to 500 pounders, number 1s 141 to 158, with heavier 5 to 700 pounders at 130 to 141.25. Calves this week, there was 3,023 compared to 2,979 last week and 2,817 a year ago. Compared to last week, bull calves were steady to $5 lower, and heifers sold steady. Number 1 Holstein bulls 95 to 120 pounds were 101.50 to 115.50. Lighter calves this week were 70 to 90 pounds. Number 2s were 80 to 102. 80 to 90 pounders were 55 to 70. Number 3s this week were 50 to 70. Holstein heifers, number 1s were running about 95 to 115. Number 2s were about 60 to 90. Hogs this week, there was 708 compared to 1890 last week and 1055 a year ago. Compared to last week, barrels and gilts were $1 to $2 higher. Sows were steady. Barrels and gilts 49 to 54%, lean was 57 to 60. 45 to 49% was 53 to 56.50. 3 to 500 pound sows were 32 to 35. 5 to 700 pounders were 33 to 36.50. Lambs and sheep this week, there was 2,130 compared to 2,144 last week and 3,416 a year ago. Compared to last week, slaughter lambs were about $5 to $10 lower, and sheep were selling about steady. Choice lambs 40 to 60 pounders, 120 to 136. 60 to 80 pounders were 110 to 138. 80 to 110 pounders were 102 to 120. 110 to 130 pounders were about 103 to 116. Good ewes 100 to 150 pounders were running about 66 to 78. And goats this week, there was 2,407 compared to 2,013 last week and 1,967 a year ago. Compared to last week, kids were about $10 to $20 lower. Nannies and billies sold about steady. Goats are sold by the head with weights estimated. Selection 1 kids 40 to 60 pounders were $88 to $126. 60 to 80 pounders were $114 to $137. 80 to 100 pounders were $118 to $140. Selection 2 kids 40 to 60 pounders were $78 to $112. 60 to 80 pounders were running $88 to $114, and heavier 80 to 100 pounders were $100 to $110. Selection 1 nannies 80 to 130 pounders were $110 to $140. Selection 2s, same weights, were running about $70 to $98. Selection 1 billies 100 to 150 pounders were $132 to $155. 150 to 250 pounders were $188 to $287. And Selection 2s 100 to 150 pounders were $117 to $150. Selection 1 weathers, same weight range. Selection 1s were running about $140 to $200. This is Dave Wirt for Ag Market News. Have a good week.